Hello, everyone. I'm Sandra, and welcome to our live stream where we'll be shining a spotlight on psychology at DMU. I'm really pleased to be joined by Lydia and Julia today, who will be sharing their DMU journey. We're here to answer any questions you may have about life at DMU, so please do leave your questions in the comments section and we'll be sure to respond. So, without further delay, I'll hand over to our guests.
Hi everyone, my name is Lydia and I am in my third and final year here at De Montfort University.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia and I am in my second year. I am also an international student from Poland.
Thank you both. So, can you tell us why you chose to study psychology at DMU?
So initially in my A levels, I studied photography, sociology, and psychology. So having psychology there already was a really good bonus for me, to kind of start off my degree. But one thing that stood out to me about De Montfort specifically was the modules on offer. I found that the modules within the psychology degree as a whole were really varied compared to some of the other universities I found that were very much specialized in what they taught. Some of them were very much sports psychology, some of them were very work psychology based. But one thing I really liked about the De Montfort psychology course was that it covered a really, really wide range of different kind of subgenres of psychology. So yeah, that's probably my main reason why I chose psychology here.
I definitely agree with Lydia. The other thing is that our course at De Montfort is accredited by a British Psychological Society. That's quite important for us if we want to go further with our psychological career. I mean, doing a master and then doctorate and then becoming an accredited psychologist. This accreditation of the course is actually really important and in that career path. And the other thing is the extracurricular opportunities that are available at De Montfort for us to gain practical experience, a part of just knowledge from lectures and any other classes. Like we have the opportunity to go on a placement year or on a student exchange, which I will be going on next year. I will be joining University of Deusto in Bilbao in Spain.
That's great. So, what have been your highlights so far, Lydia?
So probably my highlight of the whole degree so far, I mean, I've done all my 3 years now, so I've experienced all of it. My main highlight was my DMU global trip that I went on just this past February. I had the opportunity to visit Paris with psychology as a subject. It took about 20 of us to Paris for a trip about the history of mental health and neuropsychology. And it was fantastic. We did all of the usual touristy stuff, the Eiffel Tower, all of the museums like the Louvre, which was really amazing. And we had the opportunity to visit the pathology lab at the Sorbonne, which is the university in Paris. And we had the opportunity to, go behind the scenes and look at all of the like the specimens that weren't able to be viewed by anyone in the general public. So we had special clearance to go in and look at all of that, which was really amazing. And overall, it was a fantastic experience that helped with kind of a bit of extra boost on the topic as a whole. And another highlight I'd say was the employment options here at the uni. I have been a student ambassador for psychology from this end of first year. And it's a job that you can get within the university that works around your studies really well. You're not committed to anything. And it's an opportunity to earn a little bit of money whilst you study and also work within the uni and spend some time with lecturers and professors and stuff like that, which has been really interesting.
That sounds great. Julia, can you tell us, looking back over the 3 years, what have been your highlights at DMU?
Definitely another employment opportunity. In my case, it's student ambassador as well. So that's one of the options we have here. But the other one was the frontrunner internship. It's like a paid 6-month long internship 10 hours per week, and it's under close supervision of DMU academics or any other staff. In my case, it was research assistant in psychology of language. So it was an amazing experience for me to be involved in the research conduction, including the whole process, starting from the recruitment and finishing with data organizing, analyzing. I feel really, really prepared for my next year and dissertation writing, but also I gained lots of transferable skills that definitely boosted my CV. A part of that, of course, DMU global trips that Lydia mentioned as well. I've been to Bilbao and Alicante. I've been enjoying some intercultural communication course and student exchange experience. A part of that, of course, lots of sightseeing and exploring Spanish culture. And the final thing is a Think Pacific internship. That's another great opportunity to get some practical skills in psychology. I got to work on global psychology, exploring Fijian culture and the issues, mental health issues they are dealing with. And at the end, I designed my own mental health and suicide prevention program for one of the local organizations. So there's quite a lot to do, but that's amazing for us as students.
That all sounds great. I mean, thank you both for sharing so much. I mean, it's clear that you both love studying at DMU. So, what has been your favourite module or area of psychology so far?
So for me personally, I think something that a lot of people like have a relationship with psychology is with the study of mental health, and that's been probably one of my biggest favorites throughout my 3 years. It's been really, really interesting, and I think it's so important and interesting to learn about, you know, how mental health develops and how different mental illnesses come to light, and you know how you're able to treat them as well, which is really important. And as well, I've really, really enjoyed the biopsychology module, which is all about, you know, the brain and how the brain structures work and how it relates to mental illnesses and things like that. That's been really, really interesting as well. And I've also really enjoyed the assessments that came with them. They were both essay-based modules, and the essays were really interesting and helped me to be able to kind of expand the knowledge in the areas that I really enjoyed, which was really nice. And it helps that on both of these modules and a lot of other modules in the psychology course, the lecturers are specialised in their topics. So, for example, in my forensics module in my 3rd year, we have a chartered forensic psychologist as one of our lecturers. So everyone who you're being taught by is an expert in their field, which makes it even more enjoyable, which is great.
Yeah, for me, I think it was social psychology in the 1st year. Like it was a bit of one big module, the core areas of psychology, but social psychology was particularly enjoyable because it's really close to real life experience we all have. It's learning about interactions between people, our behaviors in society, because they are of course different. They are different in different societies we might be in. So that's amazing to learn about it. And then kind of when you actually are in a society, you're starting observing, you're starting thinking about it as a psychologist, having this knowledge. So it was really good to have this experience. And also research methods for psychologists. It might be shocking for some of you and scary because it seems like it is maths, it is statistics, but actually we work with a professional software that does that for us. The thing we do, and it's really enjoyable, we have lots of practical stuff happening in this module, so we can actually learn quite a lot and gain some practical skills that will be useful later in our psychological career.
Oh, thank you for that. I think we'll take a look at some questions now. So let's see what's come through. So we have a question here. It says, is psychology helpful to becoming a therapist? And is it easy to get a job after the degree?
So yes, psychology is definitely the correct degree if you want to become a therapist. When you say easy for getting a job after the degree, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to be a therapist, you'd have to go on and do some further study, for example, a master's or a doctorate. Because for a career like a therapist, you have to be chartered and you have to be registered with certain courses and the BPS, for example, the British Psychological Association, to be able to carry out those jobs, because obviously it's quite a sensitive job and you've got to have all of those qualifications behind you. But it really depends on what you want to do. There is jobs available for you straight after the degree. And then if you wanted to go into something more specialized, like being a therapist, for example, it's definitely helpful. And you could go on to do a counseling master's or a mental health master's, and then a clinical doctorate if you wanted to. So yeah, there's definitely loads of avenues you can take and different ways that you can get there.
Thank you. I think we have another question as well, so we'll bring that question up as well. So is there any advice that you can give for a new student this year starting in September doing psychology and criminology?
Firstly, don't stress out, because it is supposed to be an amazing journey for you. University is great experience, great adventure, and it might seem scary because it's, of course, another transition in your life. But to be honest, it's much better than we can expect, that I expect it to be. During summer, you can enroll into some social media groups that are happening on Facebook, mostly. For your course, I don't think you need to, prepare anything, because you will get to have the induction week at first. So it will be really introductory and orientation for you before you actually start with the proper psychology course and modules. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, Lydia, if you want to add anything from your experience.
I mean, you covered everything, I think.
Thank you. So we'll now move on. So let's talk about the facilities. We do have a range of simulation suites, specialist computer labs, and the latest software, including EEG, VR headsets, and eye tracking software. Which facilities do you use as part of your degree?
We are. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Go.
So when you are in your second year doing biopsych, you will have the opportunity to go into the labs and use things like, the more common word for them is like a lie detector test. We call them a polygraph test. And it's all about learning about how skin conductance and heart rate and things like that can affect a person's behavior and how they react to certain things. Like, for example, if someone's lying, or like loud noises, like loud claps, things like that. And it's all about testing your responses to those sort of things. And as well, as part of your research module, you will have the opportunity to use the research labs. For example, you'll be using those maybe in third year as part of your dissertation, or you'll be using them in your second year as part of your poster project. Have I missed anything, Julia?
No, biopracticals are mostly for using the equipment. In the cognitive practicals, we also use another software. It's not equipment, it's software, PsychoPy, for creating professional experiments, psychological experiments. So it's not only fun, but it's really a nice experience and another skill for us. And yeah, that's mostly that.
Well, sounds fascinating. Thanks for sharing, both of you, on that one. So on the topic of facilities, let's actually watch a short tour of our library where you can access psychological materials.
Hi everyone, I'm Manif, a third year psychology student here at DMU. Let's see what the library has to offer. Come with me. Welcome to Kimberlin Library, our main campus library, and it's open 24 hours. Let's have a look around the ground floor. Over on our right is our leisure reading collection. Come, let's check it out. Most of the things you're going to need for your studies are going to be on the other floors of the library, but these kind of books are for a more relaxing read. There are PCs on every floor of the library, and on this floor you can borrow laptops as well from the blue lockers. If you have group assignments or you want to work with your friends, you can book out a syndicate room. This is the Centre for Learning and Study Support. Come and check it out. Here, anyone can get support with study skills such as referencing, researching and essay writing. There's also the Master Learning Centre, which provides one-to-one help and workshops if you need additional help on your course. That's everything on the ground floor. Before we go up, let's go down. Special collections and university archives live down here, and they're always happy to show you around. Let's have a look and see what else is here. We've got even more study spaces on this floor. We've got bookable syndicate rooms and individual study rooms. Over here we've got Kimberley Max and CAD enabled PCs. That's everything on this floor. Time to go up. After a long set of stairs we find here. Let's go check it out. Now we are here on the first floor where you'll find most of our book stock. Over here we've got a dedicated psychology area. All the help you'll need with your assignments, the books can be found here. No need to purchase them when you can simply loan them. You can also use library search to help find journal articles. We also have a specialist librarian for each faculty which can help you find books or information if you ever need help. That's everything on this floor. Let's go up one more. Now the second floor is a place for quiet or even silent study. So shh, make sure you keep the noise down. And since I'm already here, I think it's time for me to start working on my dissertation. Take care.
Hopefully that gave you an insight into what you can expect when you study at DMU. Feel free to drop any questions about the facilities or any other questions into the comments, and we'll be sure to respond to them. So I do think we have got one question that's come through, so we can bring that up on the screen. And that question is, what does first year mostly include in terms of topics and research methods?
So first year, what I say to a lot of people is that first year is a year where everyone gets up to date with each other. So no matter if you've done psychology for your A-level studies or if you've only just started it now in uni, everyone is brought up to the same speed and no one's left behind. You'll be doing modules such as historical perspective. So you'll be learning about the history of psychology and how it, developed as a subject. You'll be doing cognitive, you'll be doing biological, you'll be doing your research methods, obviously, which will include the basics of the system that you'll be using throughout your degree called SPSS. It's a statistical system that, instead of you having to do all of the complicated tests, does them for you, which Julia mentioned earlier, which is a really, really great system. It helps everything be a little bit more simpler for you. And you'll be doing workshops and lectures to get yourself accustomed to that system, because it's a bit confusing at first, but first year is all for bringing everyone up to speed and giving a wide range of an introduction to psychology as a topic.
Thank you for that, answering that. So let's move on to your experience coming to DMU. Thinking back, how did you find the transition to being a first year student at DMU, Lydia?
So my introduction to DMU might be a bit different to what yours may be, because I started right in the middle of COVID. But the introduction to DMU and psychology as a whole will be the same no matter if you're doing it online or in person. Everyone is very welcoming. Everyone is everyone's highest priority is to make sure you are accustomed and you're welcomed into the university setting and the course setting as a new psychology student. There's lots of introductions to all of the topics, so you're kind of given a base understanding of everything before you start. And everyone is kind of brought up to date. And, outside of the subject setting, I'm a commuting student. So it was a little bit different in the sense of that I wasn't in halls. But no matter if you're in halls or you're commuting, you've got all of your freshers events, you've got your standard, your freshers nights out and all that sort of thing. But you've also got your daytime freshers events like the Freshers Fair. which is really, really helpful at letting you know about all of the societies we have here at DMU. We have a psychology society that you're able to join. And then also about our sports clubs. We have a varsity team for many, many sports. And then also there's loads of stands for loads of local businesses and pubs and restaurants, so you can go get some freebies if you want to. Another big part of the transition was joining group chats. So Julia mentioned earlier that often during the summer there will be a Facebook group set up, or a Facebook group chat, or Snapchat or WhatsApp, which will be a key part of your transition into DMU life, because you'll be meeting all of your new course mates for the first time. And that was a great way to get accustomed to everyone and start to see who you'll be learning with.
Thank you. And Julia, what advice would you be able to give to somebody to help them prepare for starting university?
So definitely think about your budgeting and money. So there's a student finance support, and remember about deadlines. It's super important, especially in the first year when it's first application. So think about if you need a maintenance loan, or if you maybe would like to find a job. You can start researching jobs earlier, to be honest, and it's quite easy to find them in Leicester. Then there's also missing home part, so it's good to bring something that's close to your heart, connected with your family, with you. For example, just a photo album. That's what I did in my first year, and whenever I kind of missed my family, my country, I just opened it, look at that, and felt much warmer inside. Then there's also accommodation. As Lydia mentioned, you can live in accommodation just next to the campus, but you can commute, you can house share. So it's good to do the research before, go through the options, decide on what is the best for you, think about what factors are important for you while choosing. So these are those general things that are part of the transition into this independent life. But don't worry, you will be definitely fine.
All good advice there. So on to our final question. What surprised you the most about your experience so far at DMU?
So I think probably the thing that surprised me the most was my final dissertation, which I actually submitted yesterday, so it's finally over with. So I think a lot of people, when they start university, they kind of know what a dissertation is, kind of the basic understanding of it. But I think in a good way, I think no one can prepare you for what the process is actually like. And I think that's why it surprised me so much. I think I thought it would be a very, very independent piece of learning. And whilst it is your final dissertation, it is an independent piece of learning. Something that I was surprised at was the level of support and guidance that I was given, which I don't think a lot of people realise that you get throughout your dissertation and throughout your whole course. You get assigned your dissertation supervisor, which is a lecturer in psychology that will get matched to you based on some questions about what you'd like to do for your study. And they will be able to guide you and help you with anything you might need throughout the whole process. And that's something I didn't realize I got. So I think the dissertation can be a very scary experience, I think, to people who've never experienced it before. But now, having been and gone through it and submitted it, I think it was a really nice experience to, go out and be able to study something that I was really interested in, and that I wanted, to take further and do my own piece of research. And I think it surprised me that I enjoyed it as much as I did, because I think it's a big scary that a lot of people think about, but it was actually not that bad.
That's
good to know for me. When it comes to my experience, I think that a part of just a great learning and teaching experience we have, that DMU offers like multiple ways to grow, develop, and improve personally, professionally, and academically. Like the amount of extracurricular activities shocks me, still shocks me actually, in a way that I wish my studies were longer for me to try everything. So I'm not worried anymore about my future, because I know that with the experience I gained, and I am still gaining, I will easily stand out on the labor market. So that's really important for us, because we are going to university to pursue some career aspirations. Yeah.
Oh, it's very reassuring hearing both of your experiences. So let's go through our questions. So this is the final set of questions. So we'll bring some of the questions up now. How do I get involved in volunteering at DMU?
So we have a lot of ways you can get involved in volunteering. We have our DMU local scheme, which is all about taking volunteering experiences in the local area. So it would be Leicester. I personally have not done that myself, but I know people who have. And it's been a really fulfilling experience for them to, get involved in some volunteering about something that means something to them, like in the local community or in schools, for example. And also you have the opportunity to work with DMU Global on a volunteering trip. Not every DMU Global trip is a academic-based trip. Some of them are extracurricular kind of personal development trips that you can go to volunteer. Like, for example, there was a trip that I saw last year to New York, and you were able to volunteer at the food banks in New York and help the process of the whole food bank and how it was running. And there was another one about conservation in, I think it was Bali or somewhere like really exotic like that. So you have chance to volunteer close by or far away if you'd like to.
Thank you. Is there any more questions? So we can bring up the next question. What are the best reasons to study in Leicester? So in your opinion.
Part of the Montfort University, I would say Leicester is quite student-friendly city, especially when it comes to budgeting and finances. When you compare the cost of livings in other cities and in Leicester, I think Leicester is on the top of the most affordable cities, and that's true. That's definitely true. Accommodations are pretty cheap. Living, like cost of living, meaning like food, some bills, or any other things you need to pay for, like passes, they are extremely low comparing to, for example, London. But this one is a pretty extreme example. Another thing, it's a really cozy and small city, but it makes it, as I said, cozy because you can get almost anywhere on foot, which is actually amazing. Everywhere, everything is close. You have city center, DMU campus, and accommodations right next to each other. So you don't have to spend too much time on commuting if you decide on moving into accommodation. And you can just enjoy your university experience around here, what makes it also a safe place to live.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for answering that. And I think we have just one more question that we've got through here, and that is there a psychology society?
Yes, there is a psychology society. You can get started with that from the minute you start in first year. It's run by students, and you have the opportunity to go to them every week. For example, societies usually meet on a Wednesday, and you'll be able to go for meetings. You'll be able to talk about academic stuff. You'll be able to get, assistance with assignments and things like that, and you'll be able to chat about the work you're doing. But also you'll be able to do the social side of things. So there's been things organised with the Psychology Society, such as movie nights, games nights, things like that. And then you've got your usual nights out sort of thing. You'll be going to the local bars in Leicester and things like that, with a lot of other societies that do the same thing. But yes, the Psychology Society is a really good and beneficial thing to do during your time here. Same with all of the other societies we have.
Thank you, Lydia. That's great. So thank you all for those questions. We hope you found this live stream helpful and you're looking forward to being part of the DMU community. If we've not been able to answer your questions on the live stream, then please do email them to us at inquiry@dmu.ac.uk. There are lots of ways you can come and visit us on campus and speak to our lecturers and meet our current students. On the 3rd of May, we have a dedicated applicant taster evening in the faculty, which is a great opportunity to come along and meet other applicants and experience a mini lecture. And there's even free pizza. The link to book on is in the comments. So thank you to our students, Lydia and Julia, for giving their time to join me and sharing their experiences. And thank you as well for watching at home. We hope to see you at the DMU in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hearing my name read out and walking across that stage just reminded me of how far I've come since stepping foot at DMU. DMU changed me, changed my life. This university gave me my identity, the friends I've made, the lessons I've learned, the degrees I've got, and it's made me who I am. DMU has provided me with so many opportunities, and I don't just mean my degrees. I'm proud of those. I have 4, but I mean the life skills, going to New York and dancing on Times Square. I'd never thought I'd do that. Going to India and teaching dance. Learning languages. I've learned 3 new languages since I've come to DMU. Volunteering hours, work experience. So these are the life skills that I've gained that I'm going to need to get on and carry on making the life that I want for myself. And if it wasn't for DMU, I probably wouldn't have done any of this. Going to Dubai was, again, another life-changing experience that I got because of DMU. I got to speak there. It's been a good experience. I've loved learning here because the lecturers that I've had all have industry experience. It's been nice because you know that they know what they're talking about. The student union elections have been a highlight for me because they were different, they were interesting. I managed to win an election during the pandemic, and I think for me that's a win that I'm very, very proud of. Graduation was emotional. My father was sat across me on that stage, and 8 years ago he came and dropped me here. He said to me, just believe in yourself and you'll be able to do it. And I did. And 8 years later, seeing him across me on stage, it was special because it felt like life doing a full circle. When people say that they don't know where home is, for me this is home. I came here as a 20-year-old girl, and 8 years later I'm still here, and the journey hasn't stopped. The journey is still ongoing. This is home. This is where I grew up.